Hello, this is Peter Towers. Welcome to this webinar for ESS BIZTOOLS. Today we're looking at client mentoring and coaching. Client mentoring and coaching are modules that have been prepared specifically to assist an accountancy business to market the new services that are being offered to clients and to prospects. What you have on the screen at present is a list of the material that's included in the various modules relating to mentoring and coaching. These modules were originally prepared following a telephone call from a subscriber in Perth who indicated that he had a new prospect coming in to talk to him. He'd been trying to attract this prospect for about 4 years, and he wanted to impress him, and he wanted to show him some of the material that ESS BIZTOOLS was producing so he could differentiate his offerings from other people in the marketplace. So what we talked to him about was the experience management modules, and this covered the items which are on the screen at present, so that there are 10 modules in this list, starting with characteristics of a well-run business, departmentalized accounts and balance sheet items, leadership, marketing and KPI, further marketing issues, business planning, taxation, banks and lending, corporate governance, human resources, and time management, sponsorship and government grants. So they're the key components of the various modules that are available. To see what's in each of the modules, we have a letter which would be available to go to the client or the prospect, which you would place on your letterhead with a logo, etc. And you can edit this letter if you wish. You can develop your own template if you wish, but it's an opportunity to communicate with your client or your prospect the reason for you sending this material to them. So each series has a separate letter explaining to the client what's the purpose is, and then with each letter within each series there is a survey form. So this is a form which the accounting firm would badge with your logo and your name and address at the top of the form, so your client knows that it's from you. And then there is a question. This one, there's only one paper going out with this series. This is on characteristics of a well-run business. So we're inviting the client to indicate whether this was very helpful. That's our number 1, and least helpful is now number 5. If you start getting anyone recording 4 and 5, we would like you, if you become a subscriber, to let us know, because that obviously means that we need to do some work on that particular article. And then we're asking, is there anything else that the client or prospect would like covered in this material? And our suggestion is that after 4 or 5 days from when this material was sent to the client, that you would have someone telephone the client to see whether they had any particular questions and do they wish to see an accountant. Because unashamedly, this material has been prepared to assist accountancy advisory businesses to sell business advisory services. This is the way you educate the client away from the taxation model that most of them have you as an accountant pinned in. If you like, they identify you with doing their tax returns. Some of them don't readily accept that their accountants are also going to be able to supply a wider range of commercial financial services. This is a way to educate the client on the services that you can provide. And then we've got the papers themselves, So there's some forms that are included. We'll just go to the paper. This is characteristics of a well-run business. You could put the logo and the brand name on the top of the paper, and then you've got the paper itself, which is ready to go to your client. Our recommendation is you send each of these series out by email every week or maybe 2 weeks, depending on what you believe the reaction you'll get from your client. That way, the client's going to receive 8 separate letters and survey forms from you, and hopefully they'll be well inclined to be very interested in the sort of services you're providing. Some of our subscribers, however, produce all this into a book type format. They print it all off and bind it up and put their name on the book with the name of the mentoring program and give that to the client. That works. There's a nice record. Only thing that worries me is you're giving the client a lot of material to read at one time, but it's like a book. And alternatively, you could look at producing a folder for them to place the email printouts into, so that progressively they build up a file over, in this case, an 8-week period. That's all up to you. So I've now moved into the second series, and this is looking at, there's the letter and the survey form. There are some forms there that support the material that's been sent, and then there's the various papers that are attached to assist the client to understand more advanced accounting within their business. We believe it's important that your clients understand the accounting side of things so that they are able to better appreciate the work that you as the accountant are undertaking for them. As I'm going through this webinar today, if you have any questions, can you please type your question in, and in webinar jargon, raise your hand, and I will answer the questions a little bit later on. We've now moved into the leadership marketing issue. So there's a paper there on personal leadership. Which is part of this, which is all part of this process of communicating to your clients that your firm is interested in supplying an all-round financial service, not just taxation. Taxation's part of it, there's no doubt about that, very important part. And probably for most accountancy businesses in Australia will continue to be in excess of 50% of the fees in the future years. But what I'd like to see is that pardon me, a larger component is being generated from business advisory services. And there are other papers there on marketing and marketing yourself. We might just pick on another one now, banks and lenders. There's some papers then on banks and finance applications and relationships with banks and lenders. There's some material on corporate governance, directors' checklist, corporate duties to be allocated. So it's covering a wide range of activities as part of corporate governance. If we go to another segment now, we might go to purchasing or commencing a business. So this is when someone's thinking about buying a business. The material that we have here is broken into 6 series: checklist, structures and taxation planning, or taxation issues in purchasing a business, self-analysis, successful acquisition and sources of finance, insurance, accounting records and asset control, sales records, debtors, payroll and inventory, and record keeping. So they're the items which we've included in a module to start the process of someone looking at a business. So in the first instance, there is the letter and the series survey form. There's some various forms giving samples of minutes of meetings and unit trust flow chart. There's flow charts for discretionary trusts, but here's one on a unit trust, which hopefully enables you to clearly explain to a client or a prospect just how a unit trust operates and who the settlor is, who the appointor is, who the trustee is. And then there's the papers. So we might start with the small business overview. So this is at the very beginning of someone going into business. So they're able to understand some of the basic items to do with starting a business. And then we've got business structures. I've just checked on questions. No one's got any questions yet, but if you do have questions, can you please type them in? And in webinar jargon, raise your hand. This is a paper on business structures, which is looking at sole traders, partnership, discretionary trust, unit trust, company. This is an introduction to this material. So you've got this to indicate to a client that's thinking about starting a business the various alternatives that are available for them. And if they wanted to have a look at discretionary trust, which a very senior practitioner in a major firm used to always say to me was the best paper we had, because it saved him trying to explain to clients how discretionary trusts operated. So there's a paper there you send to your client, what's part of this package, so that they get a clearer understanding of how trusts work. And then you could continue to send other information to the client. If you wanted to have a look at getting investment ready, which is a very important subject for a lot of people these days, there are 11 modules, which is looking at the full ambit of getting a business virtually to a prospectus type stage, prospectus for a small business, an information memorandum to be able to position themselves to raise capital. So we're looking at things like insurance and working capital and companies and systems, characteristics of a well-run business, which we already looked at in connection with something else. The following week, we're looking at business planning. Planning your business, planning to succeed, strategies for making profits. And each of these has also got a set of PowerPoint slides for them. And then we have a look at the various accounting reports, because it's very important if one of your clients is going to try to raise $500,000 from some business angels, that they are able to convey to those business angels that they understand how businesses operate. So this is a full overview, looking at all the financial records, how they work, and there's a set of PowerPoint slides for each item as well. So if we want to look at the PowerPoint slides, it's just a matter of clicking on the slide. So you got PowerPoint slides which you could utilize for a discussion with the clients. Send them to the client so they get a better idea of the type of services that your firm is able to provide to them. We're talking about key performance indicators in this area as well. We might look at marketing, what makes you different, your competitive edge, creating effective media relations, development of a marketing plan. We might look at corporate governance. So if we have a look at a paper on a director's checklist, there must be a paper that's down for review. Let's bring that back. I clicked on the wrong form then. Wrong. Just get this back up. We've got material then on company valuations, which is looking at various valuation methods. Investment applications, paper on investment pitches, looking at trying to prepare your client as to how to make an investment presentation. It's not easy, especially when they've got to make these presentations in 8 to 10 minutes in most cases. So we have a paper there to assist them in doing all that. So that's the overview of what happens within the Getting Investment Ready seminar. So they're the modules that are contained within client mentoring and coaching modules, which a subscriber is able to progressively forward to their clients and prospects to better educate them on the services an accountancy business is able to provide. I'm just going to check to see if there's any questions again. There's no questions. That basically concludes this webinar on client mentoring and coaching. If you think of any questions later on that you'd like to get answers for, please send us an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, or telephone me on 0747241118. Thank you for participating in this webinar today. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.